Hey everybody, this is Talkative Carl. We're back again for February. So there's gonna be a lot of Black History Month slash Valentine's theme reviews that's gonna be carrying on. And I already just put up my review of Meteor Man, which should be on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/slash Talkative Carl. Links are in the description below. And right now, as part of like a Valentine's Day type of feel, is the movie starring Daniel Radcliffe called Horns, which a few months ago it popped up somewhere, and like, wow, I vaguely remember this being advertised, but never actually cared enough to see it or wait until it got on able to watch or anything like that. It kind of like fell through the ether, but it's kind of like a black comedy based off a book of the same name, and it stars, like I said, Daniel Radcliffe as Iggy or Ig, uh, Ig Parrish, Max Minghella as Lee Turnu, Ig's childhood friend, Joe Anderson as Terry Parrish, Ig's brother and musician, who's pretty much looking like a discount Troy Baker. I thought it was Troy Baker at the time when I was watching this. Juno Temple as Marion Williams, Ig's girlfriend. Uh, Kelly Gardner as Glenna. Uh, uh, James Remar as Derek Parrish, the father, Catherine Quinlan as Lydia Parrish, the mom, Heather Graham as the waitress Veronica, and David Morris as Dale Williams, the father of Marion. So this movie, has definitely some biblical references here and there, where the movie begins with Ig being ostracized by the community, this kind of like logging type of neighborhood, logging company type of thing. You know how it's like there's like local towns that's like, their main source of commerce is like, a fishing community or marine, type of thing. This is kind of like a logging type of community, uh maybe like Oregon or something, I don't know. And Ig is ostracized when he is blamed for the death of Marion. Nobody believes him. There's no evidence to say otherwise. Now, of course, Lee, being his lawyer, who he feels like Ig's family and Lee is the only people who actually believe that he is innocent. But the evidence is supposed to be gone to the laboratories to run DNA analysis and everything like that. Somehow Mysterious burnt down. Now it's like nothing to can prove whether or not he actually did it. So now it just kind of further exasperates people's assumption that he is a possible killer. They even got like news reporters constantly following him, which is kind of ridiculous. Sure, there's going to be like news reporters who wants to get kind of like an inside scoop or anything like that, but to a certain degree, you would think they gotta back off. But every time he driving somewhere, they constantly, not all the time, but a fair amount of time, they in there follow him everywhere he goes, not giving a moment of a respite. It's kind of, to a degree, kind of like overblown. Well, I guess it's kind of like following Charles Manson if he was like, found innocent, even though it's like in a different world if he was found like, there was no evidence linking him to horrible situations that he actually did. people constantly want to follow him around to see, like, get quotes from him and stuff like that. But there's a degree of, like, you know, boundaries that reporters should take when it comes to interviewing people. So, you know, of course, Miriam's father is like angry, hates his guts, thinking like he already lost his wife years ago, and his daughter's the only family he has. Now that is taken away, he's bitter and everything like that. So, it gets drunk one night, and he goes to the memorial or the vigil. I won't say vigil, memorial, whatever. Like they put like the candles from the vigil, and the pictures of Miriam, where her body was found. He gets drunk. He pees all over like the lit candles, and then like Glenna, who always had like a crush on Ig since they were kids, finds him. They end up having like a one night stand, and then Ig wakes up in her bed, and as he's going to the bathroom, he notices that he's starting to sprout horns, and he doesn't know where the heck that's, you know, what's happening. So as he put on his clothes, he sees Glenna sitting on the couch, and he knows something weird is going on with her because she's starting to, you know, ask like, "Can I have these donuts?" It's like, "Sure, why are you asking me?" It's like, and then she started confessing weird crap to him, and then she starts like really indulging into the donuts, like snarf, you know, like scarfing them down, like darn near ravenously. Doesn't know what the heck is going on, but he got other concerns. Then like people he's starting to come in contact with starts like confessing stuff, saying weird things that, you know, about certain desires that they have. Like he ends up going to like the doctor's office to try to like deal with the horns, to try to possibly get them cut off. But then you see this you know, little kid throwing a tantrum, and the mom talking about like, you know, sometimes I want to leave my kids somewhere. Sometimes I want to kick her down the steps. It's like, why would you tell me something like that? It's like horrible. And then she started confessing about how like she's sleeping with her golf instructor, her black golf instructor, because he has like a big dong and everything like that, and sleeping behind her husband's back. And it's like, I don't want to, know this stuff. And he goes to the receptionist to turn in like the filled out paper to see the doctor, and she starts confessing about like, certain places driving her crazy, and this woman here is, got like it was a lousy mother, and they get into like a fight and everything like that. And he just goes to see the doctor. He doesn't know what the heck is going on. Everybody's acting really weird. Then the doctor confesses about how like he Bill knows the horns, but as he points out, every time he looks away, he forgets for some reason until he looks back. Then he confesses about how like he like to take like not Adderall but some other drug secretly, and then he puts him under anesthesia. We see like a backstory of Ig and his childhood friends and Miriam as little kids, and how they fell for each other, and they went to the same church and everything like that. And he wakes up and sees that the doctor is banging his nurse beside him, and it's like with the saw literally stuck on one of the horns. He barely even gotten started, and so he leaves and he goes to the local priest, try to see what the heck's going on. And the priest confesses how, like, you know, he should just off himself. I mean, it's like, oh my god. So Ig notices, like, okay, he can probably uses these powers to his advantage, trying to get answers about what's really going on. So he eventually get rid of the reporters following him constantly by, you know, saying like, I'll grant an interview to whomever wins in a fight amongst all of you. And so all these reporters are starting to fight with each other in like a massive brawl as he goes to the local bar where he trying to get answers from anybody who might know something about, you know, happened to like the lab and like what really going down, until somebody points out information about the local waitress who might know something. And of course then the bar owner, who admits that he wants to collect the insurance, and he burns down his own place. And then he goes to the waitress, who asks, like, you know, what does she knows? And then she admits that she was blind to the reporters the whole entire time about like what happened on the night that Ig last saw Marion before she died. And of course they did get into an argument, but everything else she fully exaggerated because she wants to be interviewed and get popular and trying to ride the clout on this big big time mysterious murder kind of thing. But then you come to realize that the only other person that also saw that would have saw who Marion probably would have been last seen with would be Terry, Ig's brother. So he goes to see Terry at his show and talks to him outside, and you come to realize that trying to get Marion a ride because it was raining that night, he tried to, you know, put the moves to her and get her, like, you know, drugs and stuff like that, because he's kind of like a, you know, bit of a drug abuser, or at least he takes, you know, a fair amount of drugs. And she runs out of the car after, you know, they get into like a crash. He is completely knocked out, and he wakes up with his clothes bloody and a bloody rock in his hand, and he assumes he might have, in a drug-induced state, might have been the one who actually killed Marion. But he also get, you know, things, you know, kind of really spirals in his family life when he tries to go see his parents, and they both confess some horrific stuff that you would never think, because I imagine there's some horrific stuff that subconsciously your parents would think about you that they, you know, push it aside for the majority of their consciousness, because, you know, you might do some stuff that might seem sucky, but they put it aside because, like, no, they love you because you're their kid. But you hear the mom saying, like, she doesn't love her son anymore. She just wish he just goes away. She dreads every time he shows up. And then his father telling her, like, the only thing interesting about his son Ig was the fact that he was with Marion, because he couldn't relate to Ig the same way he could with Terry, because Terry inherited his musical talents where Ig did not. It's like, wow, that's extremely kind of gutting to hear from your parents. Like, my goodness. Anyway, Ig and Terry get into a fight. The police show up to arrest Ig, and they end up confessing, like, the fact that not only they kind of wish they could just beat on him and abuse their power and beat on him and plant evidence on him, but they also the fact that they have some hidden they're hiding who they truly are as gay men, but like one of them like says he gets off on his partner beating up on suspects, and he also like thinks about like daydreams about him being naked and everything like that. It's like, and they reckless like look it's having like, what is happening? It just did give me a laugh. I was like, what is happening? It's like, what? But next day, Lee gets Ig out of hold up or lockup, and it for a while you think like, oh, Lee's the only one who probably doesn't see the horns, because he actually the only one in this neighborhood or in this town that actually has some decencies about him. But he notices he wearing Miriam's necklace, and it's like, why you got Miriam's necklace on? Then it comes to there's some undertones of something might have been happening between Lee and Miriam, because the last time he had a conversation with Miriam, she was breaking up with Ig and alluding to there might be another man that she fell in love with. And now Ig thinking like, oh, Lee's that other guy, because he always had like feelings for Miriam, but she actually fell for Ig. So now like Ig is using his powers after he sees all these snakes following him around a lot. He's utilizing them to attack the waitress, attack the cops, or at least get the cops off his back by causing them to like have sex with each other in the car, because they act on your true feelings, go for it. It's like, it's a shame that you can't be your true selves. It kind of reminds me of something like what Tom Ellis Lucifer would do from the show, just get people just like indulge into what they want to do, because very repressed stuff that people keep hidden throughout most of their lives, because like whether it's shame or it's a sin or wherever the case may be. But it's just like, outside of the whole like two gay cops, because one of the cops said like his when he was a little kid, his father beat on him when he saw him do some stuff that was alluding to the fact that he might be gay, so he kind of kept that repressed. But other stuff where it's like people kept, like the waitress, the fact that she wants to be famous and is an opportunist, but she wouldn't have freely admitted that. But it's kind of like Tom Ellis Lucifer. It's like, tell me, what do you desire? It's like you tell your deepest, darkest secrets that you keep to yourself, because out of shame or just social norms wouldn't allow that. It's like somebody admitting that they always wanted to beat the crap out of their neighbor or something like that because they play their music too loud or something. But you never will freely admit that, because that would be socially wrong. Hi Tim, how you doing? So he goes out, it goes after the waitress, goes after the cops, then he goes after his own brother, thinking like he was the one who did the deed. He couldn't go through with actually killing his brother, but he forces his brother to overdose on all the drugs he had in his care, which should have killed him. But then after he went to go see Lee, and he tears off the necklace, it was the necklace that was shielding him from Ig's influence. That's when Lee admitted that he was the one that, not only killed Miriam, but also sexually, SA'd her. Trying to keep it YouTube friendly because the algorithm. He SA'd her, then killed her, and then planted, the bloody rock in Terry's car while he was passed out, which led to thinking that Terry must have done it. That's why Lee went so hard about, like, oh, I totally believe you, and stuff like that, trying to, because part of them still consider him friends, but he was the one who was truly in love with Miriam, didn't think they two belonged together. Yeah, Tim. So these two get in a fight. It gets overpowered by Lee some freaking how. And he shoved Ig into the car, threw gasoline on him, lit him on fire, and trying to save his own life, Ig turns on the car and drives it into the waters. But Lee walks away thinking, he's dead. But Ig comes out of the water, burnt and disfigured, but the horns are really truly protruding at this point. And he goes to the only place he thinks is, only person that he thinks can make any freaking sense around here is Miriam's own father, who hates his freaking guts. Yeah, the movie is kind of brutal in places, but I appreciate movies that take certain risk. It's not like it's a perfect film, but the dark comedy and this kind of sort of murder mystery is interesting. Like I said, it's kind of something like you will see from the Lucifer TV show in a way. And Daniel Radcliffe is like probably my favorite performance. Could you believe that they really wanted Shia LaBeouf to play this role, but for some reason he had to back out, so they went with Daniel Radcliffe, which I think is probably like a great choice. I think Daniel Radcliffe did like an impeccable job here. He's doing this whole American accent, which I understand because he has, American speaking family, but I don't know, it's kind of prefer his, English accent personally. And like, man, I would love to act in the same scene as Daniel Radcliffe, because honestly, he's one of my favorite actors. I freaking love his performances, especially outside of Harry Potter itself. He takes risks in a lot of roles, and more often than not, they kind of, depending on how, there's the Now You See Me sequel where he plays like kind of like a bad guy in that, which, it's fine. Very douchebaggy rich guy. Then there's like another one, I think it's called Gamer, not Gamer, or something like that, where somebody nailed or stuck guns to his hands, so he can't really do much and run around, part of this kind of big game type of conspiracy, kind of like Squid Game before Squid Game was a thing. That one, I don't remember it being so good. I never watched it. It seemed like, no, I think I did see it, but it's like I wasn't really feeling it. But his performances, he took definitely risk in a lot of performances. It's very good though. But anyway, so the dad comes to realize that it seemed like he actually did not do it. He gives this locket or this box with like information stuff inside. He feels like, okay, she will want you to have this. He puts on the necklace, and for some reason the necklace there's a couple of things that's kind of like it never fully explained as to why or how this came about in the first freaking place. But he puts on a necklace and it heals him and puts the horns and the powers in regression, so now he looks like a normal person. So the powers are completely gone. And it's like, okay, this is the biggest cons I have of this film. It's like, how and why did these horns even appear? Is it some kind of karma or some universal karma bestowed upon him after he peed on the memorial site or something from his drunken stupor? Why is this necklace somehow got some kind of power? It gets me thinking about, like, you know, Dante's Inferno game, where it's like Beatrice's cross, you know, because she was so devout, and it held like a thorn of the true cross from Jesus's cross thing inside this cross that was handed down from her family from generations, and she gave it to, you know, Dante to utilize in the game. So it's kind of like, at least that explains why the cross has such massive power in the game. But here you don't even explain like why you got, you know, why this power is even was bestowed upon you through some devilish means or something. Why all these snakes are following you. I expected, I don't know, a demon or Lucifer to pop up and explain some stuff at the very least. But no, you don't get no explanation. He just, for some reason, has it, and for some reason, it goes away. But anyway, he comes to realize, okay, I gotta deal with Lee. So he lures Lee out by the memorial site, and he apologizes to his brother Terry earlier and saying, but Terry shows up later. Like I said, he looks like a discounted Troy Baker. I swear to God, you look at the movie, you look at Terry, you can't help but look at like, why is Troy Baker in this? Anyway, then one of the cops show up, and he overhears Lee completely confess to the fact that he was the one that done the deed. But for some reason, he snatches he's able to snatch the shotgun from the cop, blows his head off, and and wounds Terry in the leg. And so, realizing that, okay, we gotta end this, he rips off the necklace. The powers comes back. He gets wings. I thought he got angelic powers now, but no, it burns away. Now he's like I don't know why that happened or what was the purpose of that. But he goes full demonic monster, and the shotgun blasts don't do nothing to him. But then Lee takes the picture that Ig was using a lot as like a personal weapon or something like that, and stabs him. And I'm thinking like, wait a minute, 3-4 shotgun rounds don't do dilly squat to him, but a pitchfork does for some odd reason. That was never fully explained. That's weird. So he's bleeding lava or something, I don't know. But then Ig used one of his horns to like stab Lee in the stomach, and then he summons all these snakes to kill Lee. Ig dies in Terry's arms as he's turned to ash, and then you see supposedly Ig in the afterlife with Marion. Oh, by the way, it's playing like, Marion, all the reasons you even broke up with Ig in the first place, turns out that Ig find out later that she was diagnosed with cancer, same way as her mom was years ago. So realizing what happened to her father, she didn't want Ig to go through that same experience, despite knowing full well that Ig was probably going to propose to her soon, which he was. She made up some story just to push him away. But nobody else realized this. and that's where the whole domino effect with Terry and then with Lee happened in the woods. And so that's that's what she's trying to get him to push him away to live like a normal life. And like you read, because he found out in like a letter she tucked away in Ig's treehouse, and so now he's living in the afterlife. Of supposedly he should be in hell with the crap that he pulled, honestly, with all that demonic stuff that he's going through. It's like, okay, there's no way he should be living like a happy afterlife with this woman, given the stuff that he did, half of which was probably justified, but I don't know. But that's what's Horns. It's pretty much essentially like a love story. This man who was so deeply in love with this woman and trying to figure out who took her away from him and absolve him of any guilt the community is putting on him, blaming him for the death of the person he truly loved in this world above anybody else. So it's decent. Like I said, there's a couple of things that seem very confusing that it was never fully explained, but I appreciate the dark comedy. The effects, somewhat good. It's decent. But Daniel Radcliffe is probably like honestly, out of all the people, even though everybody in here like Hella Graham and they're veteran actors and stuff like that, the shining star is Daniel Radcliffe, and looking through things through his POV is incredible. But yeah, that was Horns. Not like crazy, like box office hit or anything like that. But critically, it was like deemed like decent. Thanks for the follow, Tim. But yeah, and didn't really win any type of awards. Trying to see here. Yeah, no, it didn't win any kind of awards or anything like that. But it was it's fine. Especially if you enjoy dark comedy, you might enjoy this. But yeah, that was Horns. Next week I'll have more like some Valentine's Day and Black History Month type of movie reviews to talk about next week. So look forward to that. Follow me in the links in the description below, like my YouTube channel. Check out my Patreon. You can follow me on Twitch, where I play tons of video game walkthroughs. I've been playing a lot of Tekken 8 recently, but in a few weeks I will be going hard into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Cannot wait for that. I'm excited for that. Follow me on Twitter so you'll know when I'm on live, and I'll see you guys. Well, I'll be playing a little bit more Tekken 8 this weekend, but more reviews coming up next week, so look forward to that. I'm gonna keep it a little bit of a secret, but here's a hint. The Black History Month type of film I'm gonna do next week is a Disney related film, and the Valentine's Day theme movie I'm picking for next week, here's a hint, is a Robin Williams type of film. Those are your hints. So look forward to that, and I will see you guys soon. Take care, have an incredible weekend, be safe out there, and yeah, I'll see you all soon. Peace.